How are you doing today? Wow. I noticed how everybody like choose their own road. Is that the event that we're having today? Choose your own road? They're off by themselves. Is that the display for today? In the whole chair between y'all type from each other? Is that for you? Yeah. But remember, that's one of the things that we are working on. We are working on actually being human beings. So go ahead and go ahead. Go ahead and say hello. Welcome. All right. Now, one of the biggest things that we have is that the university has provided a lot of resources for us. But what research or surveys have said that as much as 50% of students do not know of the resources that are available to them. Okay. And so I have Mr. Roger Dell.
Good afternoon to everyone. As Professor Maurice said, my name is Roger Dow. I am one of the coordinators here at Florida A&M University. And what I have is one of our tutorial centers, the one that is located in Colvin Library, room 215B. We also have another particular center that is in Al Lawson for right now, and a third in MS Thomas. We can be found at famu.tutoraocean, all one word, .com. And many of our tutors and staff members, times, availabilities are there that can be found. We can also have some online assistance, and that can be found at the sites of tutor.com, as well as joinnat, all one word, .com. And those are online and in person. Our tutoring labs run from 8 in the morning to 7, Monday through Thursday, from 8 to 5 Friday, and we will have weekend hours. We're just getting ready to set those. Those will be Saturday and also Sunday. We also have in our labs where you have, if you do not have them currently, particular calculators, that you can utilize for your classes in the Intro to Statistics class. And we also have a final exam review that will be that last weekend before the final exams that you all have. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, please, I would encourage you to come take a look at any of our labs and check us out. Check the website. You can also see us at the, make a search on famu.edu at the website that we currently have. Thank you so much. You all have a blessed afternoon and look forward to seeing any of you. If you have any questions for me, I am currently in the library Colvin Center. Take care.
Does anybody have any questions now?
Can you repeat you said it was
Tutor is famu.tutoraocean, all one word, .com. And the other sites are joinnat.com and tutor.com. You're quite welcome.
Also, if you go onto iRattler, you log into iRattler, you see all them boxes. Have a nice day, sir.
Thanks so much.
TutorOcean is one of those boxes on there, and then that will allow you to sign up for a session if you prefer to do it that way as well. So yeah, so I've gone to iRattler. One of the very last boxes right here will be one that's called TutorOcean, right? And they both have online. You can sign up online, or you can go there in person if you want help. Yes. So far, no one has come to my office hours for help. That's a good sign, that's a bad sign. Y'all haven't started yet. Y'all still in the Christmas haze, Christmas New Year's haze. Y'all still waking up? Well, wake up then. All right. And so you have your Twitter Ocean right here. And then what else I needed to state? Right. Also, I got you guys another way to get you some help. If you go into the course, and in the course right here, you will see a link that's called Circle In. Where is it? Circle and in. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Right here. You see this link right here? Circle In. If you click on that link, it will take you into the Circle In platform. And basically it's kind of like a help you session, a help you station kind of thing. And so what happens is they sometimes have flashcards. You can create groups and work together. I have all my courses here. You should see all your courses over here as well. And also they provided an announcement. And so you can see right here, I have an announcement circled in introduction. They have a video right here that they want you to watch to kind of get you in started right here. The nice thing about the AI tutors is that they're available at 3 a.m. in the morning. So, while you're sleeping, you're dreaming about stuff, sometimes you just say stuff out loud, and the AI will hear you and give you the answer. So while you're sleeping, you can learn. No, doesn't sound like a great idea. No. All right, fine. Then we'll leave this leap alone. And so let's go ahead and let's kind of continue from where we stopped last time. All right, so let's go all the way back to the top. We're in 2.1 frequency distributions. The key thing right here is whenever you see the word frequency, you need to think of the idea of counting, right? Frequency means count. And so a frequency distribution is simply us showing how many things there are in each section. And then we have what is called a frequency distribution table. In your frequency distribution table, there are two columns. The first column is called your classes, and the second column is where you have your count, your frequency. In this example, there are 4 classes. Yes. The first number is called the lower class limit. The second number is called the upper class limit. There's something called the class width. It is an idea of how many items you can fit, how many different items you can fit in there. And in this case, right here, the class width is 5. Do you guys remember the common mistake that students can make some right here when doing this right here? Anyone remembers what that common mistake was? If you subtract these, will give you the incorrect class width. If you take the upper class limit and you subtract the lower class limit, that is wrong. That will not give you the correct class width. Yes? Instead, you need to subtract 2 consecutive upper limits or lower limits. So if I take the 5 and the 0, 5 minus 0, that gives me the right answer. If I take the 19 and the 14, 19 minus 14, that will give us the right answer. Questions there? Classes cannot have any breaks. Classes cannot overlap. Classes must all have the same width. Questions there? To find the class width, you use this formula right here. This formula starts with that you must know how many classes you are making. For example, if I'm making 10 classes, I divide by 10. What you do, you take the largest value, you subtract the smallest value, and you divide by 10. The answer you get, you must always round that up. Even if the answer is 12.1, your class width is going to be 13. Questions there? The reason why you want to round up is if you round down, the last number or some of the larger data values will get excluded, right? Because it's not wide enough. If you have a whole bunch of classes, you're going to get to a point where those numbers don't get involved. Another issue right here is because of this right here, your largest value does not necessarily give us the highest value of the last class width. If I go back to this example, you see the last class width goes from 15 to 19. That does not mean that someone scored 19 on this test. All right. Right? A class width does not guarantee numbers are in there. It just says if there are numbers between 15 and 19, I will count them. But it doesn't state what those numbers are. All right? Questions there? All right. And so then they have a demonstration for us right here. A data set, the lowest value is 20, the highest value is 97. The class width was 13. How do I build my classes right here? I first start by writing my lower class limit by starting with the smallest value, in this case 20. And then from here, I find the next class starting point. So since the class width is 13, 20 plus 13 is 33, it means the next class will start at 33. Yes? This means that the previous class must end at, the previous class must end at 32. That makes sense? Because I know they cannot overlap. If the next one is starting at 33, then the previous one had to end at 32. Yes? And then keep adding 13, keep adding 13, keep adding 13. And then I go to the other side and then I just add 13. 45 plus 13, 58 plus 13 plus 13. Or again, I could just look back. What's the number before 85? And that's my upper class limit. But for the last one, I will have to add 13 to get my last value, 97. Questions there about constructing a table. Now, the next part of the table will then be to fill in the frequencies. And the only way I can do the frequencies is if I had the data. So again, let's say these are scores on a test. I would go and I would count 1, 2, 3. 3 students scored between 3 and 32. 0 students scored between 33 and 45. Maybe 5 students scored. No, I would have to literally go look at the test and then count how many people fall inside that to get the frequency on how many. All right. Question there. And that's how you fill out the table, and then that will give us our frequency distribution table. Questions there? All right. All right, so that takes us to our class boundaries. There is a space between the upper and the lower limits. Those halfway points are called class boundaries. Quite simply, to find an upper class boundary, you add 0.5. To find a lower class boundary, you subtract 0.5. Class boundaries sometimes come for some calculations. You often don't need them, but the class boundaries are simply the halfway point between two classes. That's all they are, simply the halfway point. And since we're counting by ones, your classes count by ones. Half of 1 is 0.5, and so that's why you're either adding or subtracting 0.5. Questions there? So if I go back to our example we had a while ago, these were our tables right here. I can fill in the class boundaries. So for example, the fourth class, this class right here, the lower class boundary, I subtract a 0.5, and that gives me 58.5. The upper class boundary would be 71.5 right here. Questions there? It's just halfway between the two classes. Questions there? All right, not hearing any questions. Class midpoint. A class midpoint is the center of a class. It is found by finding the average of the two numbers in the class. So you simply, the two limits in the class, you simply add them together and then divide by 2, and that gives us the class midpoint. The reason why we use the class midpoint is sometimes, well, let's don't worry about that. Let's just calculate first. And so for the first one right here, the class midpoint is going to go 1 plus 8 divided by 2. That gives an answer of 4.5. That's going to be our class midpoint right there. Any questions on the class midpoint itself? What I tell my students right here is that what happens, we've seen lots of terms. Listen to the term and they will tell you what to do. Class, a midpoint. I'm finding the center, yes? Well, what's in between 1 and 8? The number that's in between 1 and 8 is 4.5, yes? Right? Class boundaries. A boundary is a cutoff point. So what's the cutoff point for my class? That's going to be you're adding 0.5 to find the upper one and subtracting 0.5 to find the lower one, yes? And then you have the upper and the lower limit. The upper and the lower limit in this example right here is going to be 1 and 8. Those are going to be your upper and lower limits. Questions there? Pray tell, what is the class width for this class is right here? What is the class width? What is the class width for these classes? Don't you all raise your hand at the same time?
Is it
8, 8, 8. Shaking your head. Are you agreeing with 8? Or are you saying you think you just thought of the answer? So that's why you're shaking your head because you just thought of the answer. 8. All right, 8. The answer is you take two consecutive classes, either lower upper class and lower class limit or upper class limit, and you subtract them. 17 minus 9 is 8. So yes, the class width is 8. Questions? What is 4.5 plus 8? 4.5. What's 12.5 plus 8? I need to fix this a little bit. Let me fix this. The number's a little bit off. So basically, what happens right here, you're finding your class midpoints. Oh, I guess I gotta do it on my computer, huh? Oh, all right, my bad. When you're finding the class midpoints, there are two ways to find them. You can use the formula, just like I showed you. Take the lower boundary and the upper boundary, add them together, and then divide them by 2. Like so. Or you can simply find the first class midpoint and then just add the class width each time. 8, 8, and so forth and so on. Any questions there? Has everyone already acquired a calculator for this class? For this class, you should only need a basic calculator. You can get a fancy statistics one if you want to, but you should only need a regular calculator. Most of the fancy calculations, we will use something called SALT, which has been already provided for you. And so you won't need to buy a separate calculator. SALT is free. It's WebAssign. You paid for it when you pay for WebAssign, so there's no need to buy a fancy calculator. Yes? Yes? So I just want to keep that in mind. You are allowed to use a calculator in this class right here. Questions there? We have about 25 minutes. And in this 25 minutes right here, we are going to work on our first in-class assignment. It is an assignment to build a frequency distribution table. Quite straightforward. I need to just pull it up. Hopefully I didn't close it out. FAMU dot instructor. It's me, Mario. It's me, Mario. Isn't that good enough to get it to work? I just gotta say it's me. So log on to Canvas. Go into assignments. It needs to be done by the end of class today. What you're going to do is you're going to go into the in-class assignment section. I think yours might be by date. You need to put it by group if you want to see like how mine looks like. And right here, there's one right here that's called frequency table. That's the assignment that we're working on right now. And basically, I have given you a data set of values right here, numbers between 12 and 37. I want you to create a frequency table with 4 classes. That's all the instructions there. That's all you should need. But since it's our first assignment, I can assist you if you need to. Just let me know. But go ahead, work that out on paper. Take a picture of your paper and then submit it. And that's all the requirement for the assignment. As soon as you're done, if you want to, you can let me look at it and I can tell you if there are any small mistakes on there. And then after that, you can have a nice day.